What is going on, everyone? Hopefully, you guys can hear me. I thought it would be cool to just kind of sit down and talk a little bit about some of the D23 discussion or D23 announcements that have been coming out. A lot of really crazy new announcements are coming out right now, and it's crazy. There are so many things that are going to change, specifically at Epcot, and man, I don't know. I'm pretty excited for just about everything that's coming. Some big changes. Obviously, there's some new stuff that's coming to the cruise line. So I thought maybe we'd get your opinion about what you guys kind of think of what is coming out there. So disregard some of the room. It's a little bit of a clutter. This is the first time that I'm doing this from like home on the laptop because I don't know if I can live stream and do it from the phone at the same time. But yeah, so what is going on? Taylor, Emily, Brandy and Dave, Brenda, John, Sophie. What is going on, guys? Chris, Deek Beats. Check this out at Deek Beats. One of our friends, Derek, is an awesome DJ. He's getting his start. He has his own YouTube channel that he's been working on. So, yeah, obviously, I think the biggest announcement is, I don't know, the biggest announcement for me is probably Epcot. This is now not going to be Epcot any longer. This is something totally different than what was the original concept of Epcot, which is, you know, so crazy to even think about. Ashley, Sean, yeah, so much stuff is going on. Lindsay, what's going on from Boston? And it's hard to really digest a lot of what is going on and what has been happening. So, yeah, I mean, what are you guys out there in the chat thinking about? What do you think about some of the crazy changes that are coming to Epcot? I think one thing that looks awesome is that pavilion, that like 2-story pavilion that I'm assuming is going to look out over the park, is going to be, I guess, where you can kind of watch fireworks from inside of Epcot. That is going to be probably one of the biggest changes. Let me pull up some of the notes that have been of what's been going on. Whew. It is just crazy. I do kind of like that new Epcot or the new logo for Epcot. That looks like it's going to be pretty cool. Is that main building going to be the festival center? I think that is what we're seeing, is that is going to be the festival center, is that like 2-story looking futuristic almost building. Carolyn, I love Epcot, and I'm excited for the new things coming to Epcot, but I don't know if it will be Epcot to me after the changes. Yeah, Epcot is definitely no longer the old historic kind of Epcot that we have. I mean, most of us have grown up with. Obviously, it's been changing over the years. A lot of people are upset about Figment, which is a huge announcement, I think, that we didn't see. I don't know that I saw that. I don't know if they announced anything about that, but I think they kind of glossed over Figment. So, is Figment okay? Is Figment going away? Where is Figment going to live? Boy, oh boy. So Epcot will be unified with 4 neighborhoods that each speak to the important aspects of the world and its people: World Showcase, World Celebration, World Nature, and World Discovery. These neighborhoods will be filled with new experiences rooted in authenticity and innovation that take you to new destinations where the real is made fantastic, and a celebration of curiosity, hands-on wonder, and the magic of possibility. So for you guys that don't know or we're trying to keep up, World Discovery is basically future world side that encapsulates or that like is Test Track and Mission Space. World Celebration is basically the main kind of like middle walkway area. And then the World Nature is going to be where the land is and Imagination Pavilion. So Manny, shocked that there was no Brazil announcement. Yeah, so we had kind of heard something about that whole Brazil thing that went viral on Twitter and then was later taken down. So maybe something happened. They need to pump the brakes on it. Not sure, but definitely didn't see anything. I thought we were definitely going to hear that about a new pavilion from Epcot. So Karen, I'm sad and excited for Epcot, mixed feelings. Yeah, it's tough, right? It's going to be different, and we don't really. I think, you know, I like to be on the positive side of things. I really want to think that this is going to be for the betterment of Epcot and the future of Epcot. And I think that it will be. You know, they do surveys all the time. If you guys haven't been within like the last, I don't know, year or so, it seemed like every time that you're coming out of Epcot, and this is at the other parks too, but it seemed most prominent in Epcot. There are always people standing outside doing surveys. Like they're, Disney cast members doing surveys constantly. Every time that you're coming out of there, they're always asking questions. What did you experience? What could Epcot use more of? What could make it better? And I think that a lot of people are saying that Epcot just doesn't have a lot to keep families for the day or keep people there for the day. You kind of can get in and do Future World and maybe do a walk through the World Showcase, and then you're done. And you go about your business. Maybe you go over to Magic Kingdom. Maybe you go to Hollywood Studios, someplace else. So I think that this is going to be a huge change and probably a big step in the direction of making this more of an attraction-based theme park than what it is previously. I mean, we have rides, obviously. There are attractions, but, you have the Moana thing coming. Ratatouille is going to be back there. We have Guardians of the Galaxy. We have this new Mary Poppins coming, which I think is going to be really cool. That I didn't expect to see anything like that. The Cherry Tree Lane kind of walkway and attraction, I think, is going to be very, very cool. So, Caroline, Moana and Epcot, I don't know about that, to be honest. Yeah, when I had heard the announcement, what was it, yesterday or Friday or whatever, I was really skeptical about that as well. But it definitely fits in with this new theme that they are going with in Epcot. So, totally changing. It's going to be different. Is Moana a ride-through or more of a walk-through water attraction? Asked Rachel. I think this is going to be more of a water attraction kind of walk-through. I don't think we really have a lot of details about that. But I don't know. So, Nate from Paging Mr. Morrow, what is going on, man? Mary Poppins and the new lands at Epcot. Yeah. Man, it's just crazy. There's so much to digest and take in and really think about. So, TP Vids and more. Can you please do a quick Walt Disney World recap for me? I can do my best. A lot of stuff has been announced. So the biggest thing has been Epcot. We've got no new addition of countries in World Showcase, I believe. Somebody can correct me that in the chat. But we do have Ratatouille. They just kind of confirmed that we've got a new Circle Vision coming to China. We already knew that was coming. And a new Circle Vision or 180 coming to Canada. That's new, which is going to be pretty interesting to say the least. That China has definitely needed a new update for a really, really long time. Oh boy, let me bounce back here and look through some of what is coming. I'm pretty stoked for Mary Poppins, though. That is actually kind of cool. I was never like a super huge Mary Poppins fan, but I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be pretty awesome. So in 2020, the following limited time run, Epcot Forever, will end, and the new Harmonious will debut as the largest nighttime spectacular ever created for a Disney park. It will celebrate how the music of Disney inspires people in the world over, carrying you away harmoniously on a stream of familiar Disney tunes, reinterpreted by a diverse group of artists from around the globe. Harmonious will feature massive floating set pieces, custom-built LED panels, choreographed moving fountains, lights, pyrotechnics, and lasers. So what this actually sounds like is what is going on in Animal Kingdom right now, which is like Rivers of Light. That whole thing where they've got all these floating different types of things, like the Lotus and the animals, they're all LEDs set up. And then you've got water fountains and pyrotechnics. Sounds very, very similar to that. And that's probably what we're going to see. That may have been kind of like a test for what is coming. Summer of 2020, the France Pavilion will offer even more. Will offer even more for you to discover, including the much anticipated attraction Remy's Ratatouille Adventure. And then we also have a delicious new restaurant in the France Pavilion, which will be sit down and quick service, which is, and I really suck at speaking French, Le Crêpe de Paris, offering both table and quick service this will be pretty cool. It's brought to you by the same kind of group that does Le Chefs of France, I think. So that'll be interesting. I don't really think that France needs any new restaurant or quick service. I think that they've got their place pretty much locked down and set. So this is kind of surprising, but as long as the bakery is not going away in the back of the showcase of that pavilion, I think it's going to be fine no matter what happens. So they're also going to be getting a new Beauty and the Beast sing-along, which is debuting in January of 2020. And it's directed by Don Hahn, producer of both animated live-action versions and A Tale as Old as Time. We actually met Don Hahn not too long ago at they did like a D23 Lion King showing that we went to. That was pretty cool. He's a cool guy. Canada Far and Wide, Circle Vision 360 will debut in January of 2020. Wondrous China. I don't think we got a set date on that. Of course, we have the World Celebration stuff that's coming, which is what I talked about earlier. Those are going to be the 3 new, basically, land pavilion areas. So that'll be cool. They had this new pavilion, which is will be perfect place for live events in the home base of Epcot's signature festival. So that is what this 2-story looking building is going to be. Maybe it's just going to be 1 story and it's elevated up off the ground, but it will provide a stunning elevated view of the entire park and an ideal spot to witness Epcot's nighttime spectacular. This beautiful 3-level structure will have one of the most remarkable architectural designs at any Disney park, featuring a plaza level, a middle expo level, and a park that sits in the sky on the top level. So 3 levels, actually. And the top level is probably where you will be able to view Epcot for the nighttime showings, which will be really cool. That's awesome. The design work here that they basically showed us is remarkable. It looks like an amazing place. It is going to be awesome. Let's see, what else? What I mean, like, what do you guys think about like the addition of the France restaurant in the pavilion? Like that, to me, I didn't think that we really needed that, but it's pretty cool nonetheless. Another big announcement that they made was that the 50th obviously is coming up here soon. That's going to be in 2021, and they're going to be celebrating that, I guess, across all 4 Disney theme parks. So Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom, and Epcot. Not sure what that's really going to be like or how that's going to work, but will be pretty interesting, I think. Lighthouse Point. Yes. So I see some people are let's jump to that real quick, and we'll put a pause on Walt Disney World stuff. Lighthouse Point is a brand new island that Disney is working with the locals in the Bahamas, and they have basically kind of done what Royal Caribbean has done, which I think they were trying to get 2 islands. I think they do have 2 islands now. Disney now has a second private island that who knows how this is going to be wiggled into the itineraries of the new ships, of the current ships. Basically, right now we're seeing the Fantasy and the Dream are consistently 100% of the time in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. The Magic is kind of coming in every so often, doing some cruises over in Europe. And then we have the Wonder that is every so often making its way from the West Coast back over to the East Coast. We'll do a few sailings in the Caribbean and the Bahamas. So, I think that this new Lighthouse Point, as Joe Rohde was out to announce it, is supposed to be sounds like it's going to be very based on like the natural elements of the island. The thing about a lot of islands in the Bahamas is there's not really like a lot to go about with them. At least the smaller islands in which we're talking about, it's really just basically trees. It's usually pretty flat, sandy beaches. Now this does have some cool rock outcroppings from what they were showing, but it's going to be a different type of island from what it sounds like. It's not going to be like Castaway Cay is right now. But we don't really have a lot of details. There wasn't a lot that they really shared with us, other than that it's really supposed to be more just kind of, from what it sounds like, based on the natural elements of the land. So, and of course, Joe Rohde's a part of it. So I really don't think that it's going to be a miss. I think it's going to be a hit. Everything that he's basically touched has been a soaring success, except for the Yeti, who still doesn't work. He's stuck. forever in the way that he is. So, yeah, so Taylor is jumping around in the chat. France is getting a new restaurant, which is pretty cool. Like I said, I don't know that we really need to do that, but they announced that the 5th ship is going to be the Disney Wish. That's kind of cool. That makes sense. But not a lot of other details coming out about that just yet. I'm not sure if they were doing another Disney Cruise panel. There may be more information that's going to be coming out as the day goes on from that. But I don't know. That is pretty exciting. We love Disney cruising. If you guys don't know, we're doing our own kind of group cruise on Royal Caribbean. It's going to be our first one. So we're kind of sad that we're not going to be on Disney this year, but we're definitely probably going to be trying to get onto that first sailing in 2022. So I think they originally told us that the first ship may have been coming out in 2021. That's when it's going to get delivered to Disney is in 2021. The first sailings will be setting sail, I think, either January 2020 or like the first quarter of 2020. More than likely, I would bet from the Caribbean, probably from Port Canaveral. That's Disney's home base. So we'll just have to see about that. Michael, any word on a new park? Unfortunately, no word on a new park. But it's coming. There's a 5th park. They're just not announcing it yet. It's coming. Don't worry. It'll be here. So, Jen, we did Harmony of the Seas. You won't be disappointed. Yeah, I hope not. I did a tour of it back in June, and it was jaw-dropping. It was amazing. So, yeah. Let's see. What else? What else are we talking about in the chat right now? I was surprised at how many things will be opening in the first part of 2020. Disney seems to be working faster than ever. Yeah, a lot of stuff has been announced for basically 2020. We're talking like the first part of 2020. A lot of stuff is going to be coming into action. And of course, a lot of other stuff is going to be done by 2021, which is the 50th anniversary. And if we don't start seeing the rumors flying around, or if Disney really keeps a good lock and key on it, 2021, the 50th is probably when we're going to start to see the 5th park concepts coming out as well for that. So, oh my goodness. Caroline, why were there 2 posters for Epcot? I'm not sure what you mean by 2 posters for Epcot. They have a new logo coming out for the Epcot, basically the name of the park, and then there's like some concept arts that are out there for what has been, what's new and what is coming. So, Bruce, Moana when? We haven't got a set date on Moana, and when that is coming, I don't believe. So some of these bigger changes that are coming in Epcot, I don't know that we got a clear date set on when exactly all of those things are going to be set and put into motion, other than that they are coming. So, yeah, so thank you to everybody right now. I just saw Taylor say it too. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but thank you to everybody out there who has come by to sit here with me in our like little studio. You can see the cameras like hanging out right here. I was going to set it up for some Run Disney talk here in a little bit. You can see the door over here has Taylor's ears on it. Usually I close the door, but I was just like, I have to hurry up and get in here and start setting up. So, the Star Wars hotel model looks great. And I think that they made, and I may be getting this slightly confused. I may have been looking into this too much. It may have been when they did the transition to Disney Cruise Line, but it sounded almost like maybe there may have been another Star Wars hotel ship that may be coming or something like that. I could be totally off my rocker here, so don't quote me on that. I may have misunderstood, and that may have been the transition into Disney Cruise Line when they started talking about the 5th ship that is coming. There's also 2 more Disney Cruise Line ships that are coming as well. But yes, so the Star Wars hotel sounds absolutely amazing. I think I was watching some of the live chats and some of the live streams, and people were talking about how there's not going to be any real natural light inside of the space station because you're in a space station in space. So it doesn't make sense to have any natural light. I'm assuming that this is going to be large enough that people don't get claustrophobic because from what it sounds like, it's going to be very much like Disney Cruise Line. It's all inclusive. It's all just kind of wrapped in. You don't really ever leave the ship, physically and, whatever. Like you're there. So all of the windows that are inside of that ship, no matter where you're at, whether you're in your cabin, you're walking down a hallway, you're in wherever there's a window, it's always looking out into space. You're seeing stars and things like that. And I'm sure that there will be some magic that's going to be thrown around in there as well. But yeah, food's included, entertainment's supposed to be included. They didn't officially announce a price tag yet. There were some rumors that were floating out from WDW about what the price is going to cost. And I think right now they're advertising it as a 2-night, 2-day. So usually if it's a 2-night, it's a 3-day experience. I'm assuming that maybe you're going to be exiting the ship very, very early on that 3rd day after the 2nd night. So I'm not sure like how that's going to work, but it's exciting. And I think if everything is included like they're saying that's going to be, it's definitely worth the price of probably what they're going to charge. I mean, it's going to be probably like a Disney Cruise Line. I don't think that they're really necessarily trying to hit a wage gap there of, people that have a lot of money, but it's something that has never been done before. And if they try to do it and it starts to fail, then we may see the prices drop. We may see some things change to make it, more maybe economical for everybody. But when we get the official pricing, I mean, it's definitely something that Taylor and I have talked about. We really want to try to do it if we can. So we'll see what happens. Oh, boy. So what am I missing in the chat? Okay, yeah. So Mark cleared up the 2 pavilion posters thing, which was one was the Mary Poppins and one was the World Celebration. So thank you for clearing that up because I wasn't really quite sure what that was supposed to be. Could you see the hotel when you were in Galaxy's Edge? No, because it's supposed to be in space. So I'm assuming that the sight lines for the hotel is going to be completely barricaded, probably by trees. You're probably not going to really get to see anything from the outside. So basically what they said is you're going to pull into port. You're going to pretty much looks like they're probably going to valet your car for you. And you're going to go inside and then you're basically going to be launched into space through a capsule. And, think of it as like it's not going to be a centrifuge like Mission Space. So I don't know that you're really going to be able to feel a lot of G-force. But think of it as like kind of like the stretching room in Haunted Mansion or something like that, where you're going to get inside and it is going to probably feel like it's moving. It's going to have to make it more realistic, and you're going to be able to kind of see the sky as being blue, and then it's going to turn to basically black and stars, and you're going to be able to see all of that stuff. So there is going to be a change in between the two. Now, the real question is what is it going to be if you need to leave, right? Or are you allowed to leave, right? I mean, I don't know. So that's going to be an interesting type of thing to see how they deal with that with among guests is kind of leaving the hotel and needing to come back if something happens or if they need to go out for something. But the whole entire idea of this right now is that this new Star Wars hotel is completely everything that you could possibly need is already there, so that you don't have to leave the 2 days, 2 nights that you are there until you're kicked off on the 3rd day, the 3rd morning. I'm assuming that that's how it's going to work. So thoughts on the Avenger campus. So I don't really have a lot of thoughts on the Avengers campus, Manny. That's a big announcement for I think Disneyland, I believe. And honestly, I haven't really checked out too much of what is coming out of Disneyland just because it's not our home park. But I am excited for it. It sounds like it's going to be awesome. Some new stuff that's coming. So can't wait for that. Wish more Marvel was in Disney World. So, Brenda, if you don't know, the reason that there's not a lot of Marvel here in Disney World, specifically the main characters, is because of the agreement with Universal and things like that. So I don't know if we'll ever see kind of like those main characters here in Walt Disney World that we're used to from basically whatever phase you want to call Iron Man up to Endgame in the movie sequel or in the movie series. So let's see, what else do we have coming out? What else is everybody saying in the chat? Seeing people's reactions to Star Wars gives me goosebumps every time. Love that they included that. Yeah, it is pretty incredible what it's going to be. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have never heard, basically Disney bought Star Wars, the franchise, and Lucasfilms from George Lucas for $4 billion. And, I think whenever there was the anticipation of like how that was going to work out with Disney, and if Disney was going to do it right, if they were going to really give it the right stuff to keep it alive. I think maybe George Lucas may have thought that it wasn't going to really work for them, and he thought he was getting a steal with $4 billion. But let me tell you this, George Lucas probably could have gotten like $10 billion from Disney, and Disney is still going to be making this cash cow run for probably forever, which is pretty crazy. So Avengers Campus and other new experiences coming to Disneyland Resort. Let's see. You can soon suit up alongside your favorite superheroes at the Avengers Campus beginning in 2020 at Disney's California Adventure Park. The campus is set up by the Avengers to recruit the next generation of superheroes. In some ways, these new campuses are like the Avengers themselves, a group of diverse individuals who have teamed up for the same purpose. This collection of unique addresses, each dedicated to a different discipline, have been brought together to champion the next generation of heroes. It looks pretty cool. I think that this is a lot like if you watched Iron Man 3, and he has like the big Stark Expo, which kind of looked a little bit like Epcot in a large way. I think this is kind of maybe what this is going to be resembling as. A lot of different things that are being combined into like one place, and a lot of different things that you can do. So let's see, what else do we have from that? You'll also find heroic encounters throughout the campus, including Black Widow, Ant-Man, the Wasp, Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, superheroes from Wakanda and Asgard, and Iron Man. That's pretty cool. I can't wait for it to be like when it gets done. This is the big dilemma for us right now. It's like, when do we go back to Disneyland? Do we go back when things are finished? Do we go back in the next couple months? That's a dilemma, because obviously I think we would like to try to get back for whenever this is all done, and that would be cool. But who knows? We want to try to go to some of the other parks around the world, Paris or Shanghai or Tokyo, but there's so much construction going on. It's hard to like get there and not be able to miss something because of the new updates that are coming to all of the parks. So as superheroes continue to assemble at the campus, one of its iconic buildings will be the Avengers headquarters, where you may catch a glimpse of the Avengers along its rooftop. And this building will open in phase 2, will become the future entrance to the brand new e-ticket attraction, where you step on a board of a Quinjet and fly alongside the Avengers in an epic adventure to Wakanda and beyond. You'll team up alongside the Avengers in a new battle to save our world against one of the most powerful villains they have ever faced. Imagineers are hard at work conceiving an all-new innovative ride system to put you in the middle of this action. So maybe something very similar to the Millennium Falcon and how you're piloting the Millennium Falcon and shooting stuff down. Maybe a little bit more control, though, with the guns and stuff like that. That would be cool. So, I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so let's see. Philip, there's supposed to be a massive expansion in Paris. Yeah, there's a huge expansion going on in Paris right now. They've got like Frozen Land coming, and they've got like Marvel stuff. It's crazy. No rocking roller coaster news. No, Derek, no rocking roller coaster news, I don't think. At least not from what I saw today. Marvel, let's see. Michael, yes, we are ready for Food and Wine. Can't wait. That is this Thursday. We will be there. Let's see. I'm not seeing a lot of different stuff, but yeah. I mean, what are you guys most excited for that has been already announced? One thing that I briefly touched on earlier that we were kind of talking about in the chat was that there was no mention of a new Brazil country coming to Epcot. There was like a thing that had happened on Twitter, I guess, where a college of a student who supposedly worked for Disney was going to Brazil, to like do some research for the new Brazil country. And that tweet was had made it out and then was quickly deleted and taken down. So who knows what is going on with Brazil, but no Brazil country as of yet. And I mean, maybe they won't do that. Maybe they're going to end up putting some more attractions into some of the pavilions to make those pavilions more of a place to get back into and see. I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing something coming into Japan or something coming into Italy around there. I mean, when you think about attractions and you're walking around World Showcase, if you're only going back into Ratatouille and you're only going back into Frozen, there's not really any need to continue going back into World Showcase anymore. So I'm kind of surprised that we're not seeing something maybe coming back in there as far as an attraction goes. What that could be, I have no idea. No idea at all. But that would be cool if we got something back there besides American Adventure and the show that there is back there, because not a lot of people want to go back there and watch that. It's a great place for AC, but not a lot of people do that. So, Alexis, there's going to be so much new stuff when we come in 2021 for the 50th. Yeah, there's going to be a ton of stuff. There's going to be more stuff that's going to get announced probably within the next year, the next Destination D event, the next D23 event in 2021 or whenever that's going to be. I mean, I don't think we even had any updates of Tomorrowland and of Tron. Not that there really needs to be anything updated about that or said about that, but I kind of expected to maybe hear a little bit more about everything else other than Epcot and Hollywood Studios being the Star Wars hotel. So, but I mean, a lot of changes though. I mean, Epcot is definitely now not going to be Epcot anymore. It is not going to be the experimental prototype city of tomorrow. It's going to be kind of something close to that, but not really, right? It's their new thing is now it's just supposed to be the celebration of the world and everything about it. So, Sir Christoph, I just saw this. Yeah, just wish they did the Mount Fiji attraction in Japan. Matterhorn and Epcot would be great. Would have been great. Yeah. So there were some. I think there were actually some like artist renderings, some blueprints out there for an attraction in Japan that was called something like Mount Fiji. It's supposed to be, I think, a roller coaster back there, and I don't know what had happened with that. Or if maybe just the funding stopped and they just didn't want to do it anymore. But that would be cool to have another roller coaster maybe back there to experience and enjoy. So, I mean, they did talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, and somebody, I can't remember what the name of it was. I kind of thought the name was pretty cheesy when they announced it. Can somebody remind me in the chat what it was? It was like Guardians of the Galaxy Rewind or something like that, which is going to be the first like reverse launch, I guess, or something like that, where you're going like up into space. Cosmic Rewind, yes, thank you. H in Adventureland. I think it's going to be a great attraction. It's obviously totally new. They're talking about how it spins around and does all of this crazy stuff. But also, I mean, it's a great addition to Epcot, and it's going to kind of really fit with what they were doing. I mean, who out there in the chat is like a classic Epcot? Like, are you like really upset that Epcot that you used to know is now going to completely disappear? Because basically all of Innoventions is going away from the sounds of it. From the looks of it, Innoventions is totally going away. It's gone. With whatever their kind of construction they're going to be doing in the next couple of years. No more Innoventions. Really had a lot of hope that it was going to kind of come back to what it was. I really liked Innoventions the way it was like back in 2008, 2009. Or not 2008, it wasn't there in 2008, but 2009, 2010, 2013. I kind of liked that. It was still good. It was still adventurous. The Sum of All Thrills was in there. That was cool. But I don't know. Justin, the idea of Epcot hasn't been kept up. Futuristic has fallen behind. I love Spaceship Earth, but Wolf, it's outdated. Yes, it definitely is. That was another update that they did talk about, was that Spaceship Earth is going to get an overhaul. It's going to be shut down for quite a while to redo this overhaul. Kind of a new narration as you're going through. It's going to be a little bit different than what it is currently right now. The whole I think the whole track is not the track's not going to change, but everything that we're seeing inside is going to change. And then they're going to be redoing the outside where you would exit after the ride is over. There's going to be a new exit area. That's going to be totally different and very futuristic, maybe. So, Brenda, change isn't always bad. Yeah, change isn't always bad. I mean, sorry, I'm not trying to shake the table that the laptop is sitting on, but change isn't always bad. I mean, Walt Disney himself said that nothing is forever. Nothing is safe. Things are always going to change. So, I mean, it would be interesting if we could maybe resurrect Walt and say, what do you think about this change coming to a park that was already not really designed to what you wanted it to be in the first place? I think that would be pretty cool. So, closing in January of 2020 for 2 years. So that's pretty crazy. You're now talking about only having Test Track and Mission Space, the Land, Figment, Frozen. That's really it for attractions. Spaceship Earth really does take up a lot of people. When it's busy, that attraction holds a lot of people. So that's going to be kind of tough to deal with being in Epcot and a lot of construction going on. So JL, the only thing disappointed me about Future World is the new narrator on Spaceship Earth, although we don't know who, so maybe that isn't fair. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of Judi Dench's narration. I actually kind of like the previous guy. He's slipping he did the voice of Scar in the original Lion King movie. I actually liked his narration a lot better. And but I mean, changes change, and you never know. Who knows who it's going to be? I mean, it can't be any worse than the new updated narration that they did for Mission Space, which is basically word for word the exact same thing. But I mean, what the heck? So yeah, Jeremy Irons, fantastic actor. He's a great actor. Love Jeremy Irons. Let's see what else. Inside Out has been rumored for a long time to replace Figment. That would be a cool replacement for Figment. I don't know that would really fit in with that section of Epcot though, because that is now the nature area. So I don't know that would really fit. I think we're going to see maybe Imagination Pavilion is going to be, I doubt destroyed, probably closed down and reimagined into something else. But I don't know. Again, not a lot of details about that. So, Megan, I love classic Epcot, but I feel it needs something new. I'm excited, but I am still not sure the change is going to make it any more exciting to visit those who are not Epcot fans already. So, I don't know. I'm not sure the change is going to make it any more exciting to visit for those who are not Epcot fans. I think it's not necessarily about trying to skew your perception of what Epcot was into being something better of what Epcot is going to be. I think this is really about drawing people who are coming for the first time into Epcot. Because a lot of people, I think, especially for families who don't really get what Epcot is supposed to be, because Epcot has not had a true identity for years, is to really solidify what it is supposed to be. And that's what this new change is all about. And I think that it's really more based on bringing people who are new into Epcot and keeping them there, keeping them going through the entire World Showcase. Again, I think they could probably add something either to Italy or to Japan. Those sit on either side of the American Adventure Pavilion to draw people back in there even further, because I don't think that the show in American Adventure really draws people in. It's hardly ever, very busy in there, but this is really about, I think, creating a new identity for Epcot and trying to hold to that and make it more relevant for families to feel like it makes sense. I mean, if you've never been before and you go into Epcot, you have no idea what it is. It's like you've got attractions in the front, and then you just have what basically could be just like a shopping district around the back, walking that entire loop back through there. I mean, that's not that's not what I think of it as. To me, it's still very important. And I love Epcot and World Showcase. That's one of my favorite things about coming to Epcot is just walking through World Showcase and exploring those countries. There's always something new and different to see in there, even though it hasn't changed. there's just so many details. But a lot of people who are coming for the first time have no idea what that is even supposed to be. And I think it's pretty difficult for kids to be back in there too, especially on hot days, and families are kind of in there for long periods of time. Those kids are probably like, what the heck is this? I want to ride something. I want to meet somebody. And that's not really what's happening in Epcot. I mean, obviously they have a few characters back in there to meet, some of the princesses and whatnot, but it's tough. So this chat is lit, like for real, on fire. Love it. Yes, Taylor. I can't keep up with these. It's very difficult. So yeah, so JL, I have very young children. In the future world, changes and new attractions in the UK and France will definitely bring me to Epcot for longer than rope drop and a breakfast, like the last 2 trips. Exactly. I mean, that's what a lot of people, I think, do. It's like you try to get a breakfast reservation for Akershus, which is right in Norway. So you can do breakfast and then get right out and get in line to do Frozen. Or you're just rope dropping and going to Test Track or to Soarin', and then maybe then you're leaving and you're going back to Magic Kingdom because you can take the monorail, or maybe you're taking a boat through International Gateway over to Hollywood Studios. I think that's what it's really about. So Josh should do the talking in Spaceship Earth. I should definitely never do any talking at all because I stumble my words all the time, and I do that a lot. I say a lot. So now you guys are going to hear that every time they say it. Yes, Michael, that is quite a compliment. I appreciate that, but no way. I could never do something like that. That would be, that'd be too much for me. You have to give some people a reason to come back. If it doesn't change, some people won't come back if it stays the same. And that's true, Brenda. That is very true. I mean, people who come to Epcot, for the first time and they want to come back to Walt Disney World, they may say, what the heck is the point of coming back to Epcot? All we did was ride Frozen, or we didn't even get to ride Frozen because they don't know how Fast Pass works. They don't know what rope drop is. Maybe they just stay in Future World. I bet there's a lot of people who just go in and stay in Future World. And they don't even venture back into the countries. I would really highly bet money that is a real thing. So pretty interesting to say the least for all the changes that are coming. Figment can do the talking in Spaceship Earth. Figment, I don't know if people would like that. Let's see. James, need the Mount Fiji or the Mount Fuji roller coaster in Japan. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that earlier. That was an old concept back. I have no idea. I can't even begin to think about what the year and date time was on that, but that was a long time ago. Never came to fruition. I don't know if that was because, if you guys don't know, way back when Epcot first got started, all of the countries in World Showcase were supposed to be sponsored by those countries. And they were, kind of like sending ambassadors and like money to help keep it going. And that kind of dwindled over the years. And because of that, I guess maybe you could say that that's why we haven't really seen any updates to Epcot and in not Future World, but in World Showcase. The biggest change that we have seen is Norway, which hasn't contributed any money to the country. And that's kind of why Disney said, you know what, people aren't going to Maelstrom, the attraction. It hasn't been updated. We're not going to spend money to update something that people don't want to see. Let's take it out and we're going to replace it with an IP. We're going to replace it with Frozen, and people can see Elsa and Anna and all of them. And that's kind of what I think, I wouldn't be surprised that in the near future that we see something happen to all of those countries very similar to that. Kind of going away maybe from the culture aspect. I mean, that culture aspect is still there in Norway, but maybe adding some IP, more IPs to those countries. I mean, who knows? Who knows? How do you think the Epcot changes will affect drinking around the world? They're not going to affect drinking around the world at all. I think that's going to totally stay the same. I mean, unless they do some type of weird restriction on alcohol, that's not going to change. There's always going to be drinking around the world in Epcot. I mean, that they make a ton of money on alcohol. I don't think that's going to change at all. So there was a hint of a new icon. Will be interesting to see. Yeah, there kind of was. Figment will stay the icon for the festivals. I don't know if Figment will stay the icon for the festivals once the Imagination Pavilion is probably rethemed. That's what I'm saying. That wasn't an announcement. I'm just saying that I think Imagination Pavilion is definitely going to be changed into something else. Not into Figment there. I said it. Yeah. Thanks, Magic in Michigan. Morocco could use a magic carpet ride from Aladdin. I mean, that would be cool as long as it's not magic carpets in Magic Kingdom. There I said that. I'm just hoping there's more reason to visit Epcot other than getting sloshed. Jen, yeah, I mean, obviously there is, right? Epcot is, I think you see more bridal parties, bachelor parties, families of adults, not children, giant groups of friends. That in-world showcases is where you're going to see those people the most. I don't know that that's ever going to change. Drinking around the world is that's a thing. So I don't know that that's ever going to change. But I mean, there is always more reason to visit Epcot, and that's to actually walk in and experience what those countries have to offer. A lot of those people don't go do that. They just literally go from country to country and they get drinks and they get sloshed, and that's what they do. But I think for you and for other people that want it to be more, then you have to take the time to actually go inside that country and experience what there is that is there. So, Leah, sounds like some people may be drowning their sorrows in remembrance of the change and drowning, parentheses, drinking. Yeah, that will probably happen. Some of those people who are diehard Epcot fans are staying true to what originally Epcot was will potentially do that. I don't know. So I'm kind of excited to see what Moana is going to be like, this new kind of water attraction, what that is going to be. Because when I saw the announcement on whatever it was, Friday or yesterday, I was like, that makes zero sense at all. And actually, Taylor and I had seen that, and I said right to Taylor, I looked right there and I said, that one attraction alone coming into Epcot means that we will never see Epcot the way it ever has been in the past. It is the complete overhaul and change of what Epcot is going to become. And so I kind of was like on the fence about it at first, but seeing everything that is coming out, I'm actually pretty excited to see what it's going to be like. Obviously, I think I'm going to be, I'm going to have like a thing for the nature side. That's my background. If you guys don't know, I'm a wildlife biologist by heart. So I love the outdoors. I love nature. And I'm excited to see that. Speaking of which, Taylor, I don't think that we have a news article out for the new potential DVC resort that is coming. It's like the Lakeside something. Somebody can help me in the chat. It's the new basically resort that is coming in basically over by Magic Kingdom. It's replacing the old water park that is over there, and it looks awesome. It looks crazy cool. It looks so I don't even know, like not sure what a wildlife biologist does, but I did see his video of the wild pigs. Yeah, I think at some point, if at some point so if you guys don't know, quick side note, real quick. We started a new business. It's called JTR Media. It's basically to kind of create videos for all of you out there whenever you're coming down on vacation. If that really starts to like take off and becomes a full-time business, and I leave my current job as a wildlife biologist, I'm going to make a video of like all of the crazy things that I have done in that job. I can't really do it right now because I don't say I would get fired, but I don't think I'd get fired, but I got to be on the safe side of that type of thing. So, yeah, Rabbit Jane. The new resort is going to have a Princess and the Frog themed restaurant. Basically, kind of what they touted as like the bayou along the lake. It looks like it's going to be really cool. It looks like it has some really nice outdoor seating. The only problem with that is hopefully they've got some nets up to keep the bugs off of you, or some type of crazy mosquito control. If you guys don't know, Disney uses a lot of crazy controls to kind of beat back mosquitoes and a lot of other nasty insects on property. They do a really great job of it. Everything is safe and sound for the environment. Nothing is adversely affecting the environment. It's all done naturally, which is really great. So that'll be really, really cool. I think maybe people just don't have an appreciation for cultures and history like they once did. Everything is technology based today. People want to be entertained without having to do mental work. That's a very good point. Probably maybe why Epcot is going to change, but hopefully, I really hope they don't ever get rid of the cultural aspect of what World Showcase is. World Showcase is a great place. I mean, a lot of those cast members back there, if you go in there and you genuinely like talk to them and want to learn more about like where they're from and like the culture that they come from, they will talk to you. And I think that is really, really important. So, wow. Thanks, Honey Bunny. I appreciate that. Let's see. What is, we want him to stay safe though. Magic in Michigan. Just talking about kind of my job. Yeah. So, pretty crazy stuff. Jen, I was at Busch Gardens yesterday, and the amount of bugs was insane. I definitely noticed a difference at Disney. Yeah, my company the company that I work for has actually done quite a few projects for Disney, specifically involved with maintenance of those kind of like aquatic insects that then form into like mosquitoes and midges and different things like that. So that's kind of the only reason why I really know that. It happened before I was there, which is kind of unfortunate, but I wish it would happen now. But yeah, I mean, some crazy changes. Obviously, I wish we would have seen more coming out of the cruise line. I wish we would have seen more of what this fifth ship is going to look like. For me, if we're going to talk about cruise line real quick, the Disney Magic and the Disney Fantasy, the biggest difference between those two ships is the size. When we talk about activities, there are some more activities on the Fantasy compared to the Magic, but as a ship as a whole, there's not a big difference other than the size. And I would always recommend everybody to sail on the Fantasy and do a 7-night cruising. You're going to enjoy it, I think, more than a 5-night or a 3-night or anything like that. But I really, really hope that this new fifth ship is going to be very different than the Fantasy and the Magic. I really hope that we're going to see something that is maybe competing in line with Royal Caribbean. Not that, obviously Disney Cruise Line is continuously selling out their cruises, but they only have 4 ships, so that makes sense. But, from what I saw when we did the Royal Caribbean cruise tour, there is so much more to offer on a Royal Caribbean cruise than there is on a Disney ship. And I love Disney to death. I was going through some old footage this morning. I've been kind of trying to take data from one hard drive and migrate it to another hard drive, trying to free some space up and do some different things, add some keywords and stuff like that, some tags to find stuff. And I was kind of just going back through. I came across our Fantasy cruise back in when was it? Whatever, it's besides the point, but it really made me miss being on a Disney ship. But when we're talking about this fifth ship, if they're just going to copy and paste from the Fantasy and just make it bigger, we'll see what the Royal Caribbean cruise goes like in January, but it's going to be hard to really pay that kind of money to be on that ship. I love the Disney Magic. I love everything that has to do with it. I love the inclusivity of it. But when you can sail on another cruise line that does everything just as great for the most part at half or quarter of the price, what's the point in spending that much money? You could right now, it's very, very difficult to come to Disney World and then to do a Disney cruise line. Unless you can hit it right time of the year and you can book your cruise far enough in advance, a cruise for a family of 4 on the Disney Fantasy is probably anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000, and that's for a base state room inside to maybe one with a porthole. On the Royal Caribbean, you can do that for almost a quarter to half the price. And it becomes more incentive to say, hey, Royal Caribbean's great, and we want to go to Disney World. Let's go to Disney World first, and then we're going to go do Royal Caribbean afterwards because it's more affordable. There's still just as much entertainment. There's still just as much to do. There's more stuff to do on the pool decks. There's more space to sprawl out on. There's more shopping. There's more everything to do. So I would have liked to have seen more details about this fifth ship. And of course, as time goes on, I mean, obviously we're going to see that, but it would have been nice to see it now. So Pug Pal Jen, other cruise ships don't do it just as great. Service on Disney is top notch. It 100% is. I could not disagree with that at all. Service on a Disney cruise ship is the top of the line. Now, we've never sailed on another cruise line, so I'm saying that kind of in ignorance, but I'm kind of taking it for the word of everybody else as well. So, Manny, will we be purchasing Disney Plus? We certainly will. I think it's, $6.99 a month for the base Disney Plus, and then you can do $12.99 or something for Hulu Plus and ESPN. Definitely going to be purchasing that. There's no question about that. As a matter of fact, I may. It's tough to do. Netflix right now is $18 a month or something ridiculous. Disney Plus is coming in way underneath that, especially including Hulu. So I don't want to say I'd get rid of Netflix because there's a lot of great shows on Netflix that I really love to watch. But I don't know. We'll just have to see really what Disney Plus is really about, if they really hold true to what Disney Plus is supposed to be. So, we'll see. Jen agrees. Service was amazing on Royal Caribbean, and we were never bored. Oh, we were never bored. It's hard to justify the Disney cruise price. Yeah. Like I said, we haven't been on it yet, but when I did the tour back in June, and I was only on the ship for 3 hours, I had 3 hours to basically see as much as I could possibly see, and then I had to get off. My jaw was just it hit the floor. I was stunned by how big the Harmony of the Seas was. And that the fact is that you can get all of this stuff for the most part. There are things extra that you have to pay for. But there's still extra things that you have to pay for on a Disney cruise line as well. They've got some simulator games in there that you have to pay extra for. You have to pay extra for the spa, of course. That's pretty standard across everything. The only difference is that you get soft drinks included on a Disney cruise line, and you don't get that on Royal Caribbean. So I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But I am excited to see more of those announcements when they come out. So let's see. Lindsay, Royal has exceptional service. Could not agree more about your cruise ship options. Spot on, Josh. Took our kids. We don't have kids. Took our kids on Disney cruise. Disney would definitely have to up their cruise game before we do it again. Wow, that's really surprising, Leah. That's really surprising. I don't know exactly who all is going on our group cruise just yet. Just to be totally what do they call it? Transparent with you guys, we're paying for our own cruise. That's not being provided to us by Gold Gate Getaways. It's not being provided to us by Royal Caribbean. We're literally paying out of our own pocket to go. We're working with Gold Gate Getaways to be able to do some group events while we're on board, which is going to be really fun. But the reason I say that, though, is I don't know how many people are going to have kids with them. And the reason I say that is I'm interested to know if anybody who is coming that is going to have kids has been on Disney, because I want to know what the comparison is for kids to Disney. I never got to do Disney as a kid on the cruise line, so I never got to experience those kids clubs. But just walking around the kids clubs on Disney are phenomenal. They've got so many options. Those cast members there take exceptional care of those kids. They do everything that they possibly can for them. And I just don't know what that comparison is going to be like. So I would be interested to see that when we go. But that's interestingly. Thank you for letting us know that. They really have to up their game, and it would be nice to see what this fifth cruise is going to look like. It'll be interesting to see how they tie together this new island whenever it gets kind of done with all the construction. If you're going to, I bet that they would probably have itineraries that are going to hit both Castaway Cay and Lighthouse. What is it? Lighthouse Point. I bet that they would have itineraries that are going to hit both of those, which will be cool. That's going to be, I guarantee you right now, it's going to be a very expensive itinerary to hit both private islands during the same cruise, but it'll be cool. So my wife did Royal Caribbean with a 2-year-old, wasn't family friendly, couldn't watch the show. I'm not sure what that means, Christoph. Are you talking about like, in their giant show theater or what? Disney obviously has some adult shows that you can't bring kids to either. So they do have shows that are not family friendly as well. When I say not family friendly, I'm not talking about skimpy burlesque dancers or anything like that in the main theater. But they are more adult and maybe a little bit of vulgar language and some adult humor. So she wasn't allowed to watch age stuff that was age rated. So okay. I know Carnival has really good kids programs, at least from my friends that have kids, have said they can't wait to get back on board and get into them. Chris, yeah, that's a great point. I always kind of think about doing Carnival, but it's every time there's always like some other like terrible thing that happens with that company. So, but there was some other news that came out. Let me find it real quick. Let's see. Okay, so here is a huge game changer potentially. I am very skeptical about this new program that Disney has announced because the current program that they have pretty much sucks sometimes. I don't want to be too blunt and straightforward, but and that is this new Genie app that is coming, this new Disney Genie. And the reason I say that is because the My Disney Experience app is probably one of the greatest apps ever created for a park guest. It is also one of the worst apps that has ever been created for a park guest. It almost never works properly continuously throughout the day. Sometimes it has great days. Sometimes it has terrible days. Sometimes you could be walking on an attraction and all your fast passes are gone. Sometimes you could be going to dinner and all of your reservations are gone. Sometimes it doesn't load. Sometimes it just doesn't work at all. So to think that they have now created an app which is probably going to destroy the Touring Plans app from the sounds of it. If you guys don't know, Touring Plans has a great app. I don't know anybody from Touring Plans, but I've seen their app. I've used it before. It's a great app, but the thing about it is that it is really designed to help you get the most amount of time out of your day. So they have really great walkthrough guides to get you from attraction to attraction and do all those different things. This new Genie app, let me just read a little bit about it real quick. So you ain't never had a friend like this. Moments ago, D23 announced or unveiled the Disney sorry. See, this is why I could never narrate for Spaceship Earth. Announced the Disney Genie, a revolutionary new digital offering set to debut in late 2020 that will enhance the way you plan for and experience a trip to Walt Disney World Resort. Joining other innovations like the Magic Band, Disney Genie is being designed to help you make the most out of your visit. Whether you're a first-time guest or seasoned pro, Disney Genie will make planning easier and more fun by providing customized itineraries geared to your interests. Right at your fingertips, from a royal princess-themed day at Magic Kingdom Park to a trip around the world at Epcot for foodies and even a perfect day for thrill seekers, certain features of the Disney Genie will also be available through your preferred travel professional. Sometimes you may know exactly what you want to do, but may not know the best time or order in which to do it. This is where I had said about Touring Plans. You'll be able to tell Disney Genie what you'd like to experience, and it will quickly evaluate millions of options to present you with an optimal day. And best of all, it's flexible. If you change your mind for any reason, Disney Genie will re-optimize your day. Disney Genie can also send you real-time tips and updates, including recommendations for experiences it thinks you'll love, helping you navigate the theme parks with added convenience and comfort. If you don't want to worry about making reservations in multiple steps, Disney Genie will even take care of all of that for you. This represents yet another way we're using creativity and innovation to connect guests with the stories, blah, blah, blah. So maybe this is going to replace the My Disney Experience app. but I don't know. So the Genie app will be like the Disneyland app. Uh, Probably no more Magic Bands. No, in the thing it said that it was supposed to work in sync with Magic Bands still. So I don't think that the Magic Bands are going to go away. That's a pretty big investment for Disney. But yeah, but you're definitely right, Circus Bear. Everything that you can do in Disneyland is done through the app pretty much. So yeah, so this whole idea that it can basically plan out your entire day to do what it believes to be is the most optimal thing is kind of what Touring Plans does, is creates an optimal day for you to do basically everything that you want to do, and gives you a step-by-step process on how to do that, including tips and tricks and all kinds of other things. So this Disney Genie app is crazy that this is going to be what this is coming. And I'm on the fence just because my Disney Experience app is an app that is so hit or miss day to day that I don't understand how this so-called amazing Genie app is going to be able to do the same thing. So probably the least thing that I'm kind of like, I'm excited if it works. I think it's an amazing concept. It's a great idea, but I'm very skeptical about its ability to actually do what it's said to actually do. So we also don't know if it's going to be included. We don't know if it's going to be something that's going to have to be charged for, like if it's an additional charge. Obviously, it would be better if it's free, but maybe if it's charged for, there's less people trying to access the servers on which it's held on, and so then it's not, being bogged down the entire time. I don't know, but it's got to be pretty, it's got to be pretty tough to handle, how many hundreds of thousands of people that are at Disney every single day trying to access what's going on. So. Let's see. What if you don't want it to plan your entire day? Those of us who've been to Disney dozens of times know what we want to do. Yeah, so Jennifer, it kind of said in there that it's for both first-timers and those who are seasoned pros. So I'm assuming that it'll probably do mini itineraries for you. I'm sure it's going to be something where it's going to do as much planning as you want it to do, and you can do as much as you want to do. So if there's more that you want to do, you can do more. If there's less, it'll do more for you. So I don't think that'll be a problem. I think it would be cool if the little Mickey buzz and spots for Magic Band played custom sounds if you buy premium bands, like character voice or music. Well, technically, Magic in Michigan, all of those touch points already are supposed to do that for special Magic Bands. They've kind of fallen by the wayside. A lot of them have stopped working or they've turned them off. So I don't know if we're going to really see anything different about that. So Chris, it's going to be a lot more tracking and behavioral patterns for Disney. It'll be free. You can almost guarantee it. Yeah, I mean, it'd be great if it is free. I would think that that's what it's going to be, but you're definitely right. This is something that is going to be probably trying to curve crowds. They're going to be tracking behaviors. They're going to be tracking where, not necessarily where you're at in the moment. They're not going to be GPSing your location, but they're going to know, when you touch a touch point to go into doing a fast pass. They're going to know, probably geo-referencing with the app. They're going to know when you go to step onto an attraction if you're not using a fast pass. So there's going to be a lot of the app probably trying to skew crowds into doing different things to try and spread them out throughout the parks. And again, they kind of need something like that. I mean, they're, like I've said before, they're building all of these resorts and no more lands, no more parks to go to. So we're expanding residents, we're expanding places to stay, but we're not expanding anywhere for them to go. So they got to do something to try and curve the crowds. So on one hand, people are always skeptical when Disney changes things, but on the other hand, I'm disappointed that none of the reveals today are all that exciting. Jessica, sorry to hear that you don't think that a lot of stuff is all that exciting. I'm excited for Epcot. I'm excited for the new cruise line. Those are things that we already knew about. Cruise line we already knew about. We didn't know about the new island, so to speak. That was kind of unofficial. There were some rumors out there flying around. They had been purchasing or trying to purchase a new location. There was a little bit talk about the Play Pavilion, which is going to be taking over Wonders of Life. Not a ton of great details, I think, coming out of there, other than it looked basically kind of like what Interventions was supposed to be. Is that's where that's what's going to Wonders of Life. Interventions and like the crazy kind of cool concepts that are in there. Some of the cool concepts that are in the Exodus Spaceship Earth. Those are going to be going into the Play Pavilion. Excited for that, but I mean, it's tough. I don't really know what a lot of people were expecting to hear, but I think what they have announced is I'm going to say is in a good direction. I think the change for Epcot is going to be for the better of everything. So, Ben, ready for some college football? Yes, I am. Penn State and Idaho. That's going to be a great game. Hopefully we win. Marky Mark, using analytics to control crowds and manipulate guest behaviors. I don't know that I like the word manipulate, but they're definitely going to be tracking crowds and the behaviors of how people are doing what they're doing. So that just kind of makes sense. Not to sound like some corporate type of robot here, but Disney property is a privately owned thing. When you kind of step foot onto Disney's property, there's a lot of things that are going on behind the scenes that you're not seeing, specifically security, obviously. But it just makes sense that this is something that needs to happen for them to try and curve and correct crowds into any means necessary, whether that is manipulating the behaviors of people or whatnot. So I'm actually, if it works, I'm totally stoked for it. I'm all for it if it works. So wouldn't be surprised if Genie's marketing is targeted for marketing promotions. Of course it will be. My Disney Experience app is that already. Let's see. Jen, thoughts on opening day for Galaxy's Edge? We are going to Walt Disney World Wednesday to Thursday and thought about going Thursday afternoon. I would say that you're going to be waiting in like a bazillion-hour line to get into Galaxy's Edge. That's all I'm going to say about that. It's people have been saying that they're going to be there at like 6 o'clock the night before the park even closes and trying to start their own line. Whether Disney is going to kick them out, make them leave, I don't know. We're not going to be there. I don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to have the anxiety of the crowds. I will be eating and drinking my way around World Showcase because we're staying on property, so we don't have to worry about driving anywhere. So I'm excited for that. Just going to eat and drink as much as we want. We're going to make our food and wine video. We're going to have it posted Thursday nights. And we're excited for that. So it's definitely going to be crazy, though. It's definitely going to be crazy. I give you total props for trying to be there. If anybody out there, Jen, if you guys are in Facebook, if you're not in our Facebook group, WDW Couples, I think there's a link in the description. Please go over there and join that. I would love to see your photos. I'd love to see videos. Everybody else in there would love to see photos and videos from opening day. We're not going to be there. But I would love to see what it's like. And I would love to be wrong that it's not going to be a madhouse over there. But I don't see how that would happen. So, yeah, Jen, if you're going to be over at Food and Wine, we will definitely be there. So, Derek, we're going to Food and Wine Friday night. I don't know if we're going to be there. We might be there, but I'm not sure. So, let's see. How do you think My Genie app affects the travel companies built around planning Disney vacations? Mark, actually in there it said that there will be some additions that can be added with your travel professional. So travel professional is going to be Disney travel agents. It says certain features of the Disney Genie will also be available through your preferred travel professional. So I don't think that that's really going to change. I think it's going to be something that Disney travel or travel agents who plan Disney vacations will be able to just utilize and make it a little bit easier for them to help plan you your vacation. So, but yeah. Sir Christoph, we did not get on Hagrid's yet. It's been very disappointing. We've been way too busy. I don't know. We might not get on Hagrid's until we go do Halloween Horror Nights. So, but yeah. Michael, we'll be looking for you and Taylor at Food and Wine. We're going to be there first thing in the morning. We might be actually rope dropping to do some attractions and get some of the video of the merchandise and stuff like that, and kind of seeing what we can see. So, but I'm pretty excited. We were just over at Epcot the other day. There's a lot. The entire walkway, basically going from the main walkway past Spaceship Earth, like out towards World Showcase. You would turn right, and you'd have like some pavilions right there, and then you'd have like that side walkway that goes out towards like Canada. Like that's all blocked off, walled off. They've never really done that before, so I'm kind of surprised. Interested to see if we're going to see something new and different back there, which would be cool, but probably not. So, oh, Jen, just joined on the Facebook group. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you make it over there, or whatever, always feel free to share photos and videos of your vacation or questions, whatever, in the Facebook group. Chris, yeah, I'm doing approval, so join up. Yes, thank you, Chris. So, yeah, whoa, sorry, not trying to shake the table, but thoughts on the Disney Target partnership and having Target in Disneyland Resort. I didn't see that, so that's new, but that's interesting. Target, I think, is a place where you can find a lot of Disney merchandise, specifically like shirts and clothes and things like that. I know that's usually where we will go to try and get some cool Disney shirts and stuff. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not against it. I don't know that I'm necessarily for it. I'm kind of like indifferent about it, and we'll just kind of see what happens. I don't think that I would like to see Target in Walt Disney World at all. I don't really think that there's a place for it. I don't think it needs to be here, but Disneyland is a little bit different. So that's interesting. But yeah, so I just thought we would talk about this, guys. Thank you to everybody who came out and has been chatting in the live chat. I'm going to end this stream and get back to doing other things that I need to do for the day. But I hope that you guys will end up being excited. I bet there's going to be more information coming out from D23. We're actually potentially going to be on a friend of ours podcast. If you haven't heard of them yet, it's Unrelated at Birth. Go check them out. Brandy and Dave were on earlier. They've got a great podcast. Go and check them out. We've been on both of their podcasts. Yeah. Awesome. Super excited. Thank you again to everybody who has been here just chatting while I sit here in this like somewhat of a studio with the camera set up over here and the door open over. It is what it is. So, but thank you guys. I hope everybody has a fantastic week. Dining review tomorrow. Dining reviews every single Monday. Make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification so that you get notified when those get uploaded. We've got a video coming out from the NBA experience, I think, this week. And then obviously Food and Wine on Thursday. So super pumped, excited. Yeah. And I'll see you guys all in the next video.